Hey folks, this is your host Mandeep, and in today's tutorial, I'm going to talk all about sectors and how sector rotation is important to understand, especially if you're a short-term trader. Now, the S&P 500 has 11 sectors in total, right? And those are listed here, and they're weighted as well. And of course, the biggest weightage is in the information technology, which is 27.6%, which is all your major technology companies. Then you have healthcare, which has your drug companies, your insurance companies. Then you have your consumer discretionary, where you have things like Amazon and Nike and Tesla. And then you have your communication companies that includes all your cable companies, plus it includes Google, includes Facebook, Roku, Netflix, and more. And then you have financials, which has the major banks, and then you have the industrials that has companies, all your steel companies. You have Caterpillar, Deere, and so on and so forth. And then your consumer staples is all your food companies. And then your utilities is basically things like PG&E and Duke. And then you have materials that anything that you need to build anything like steel, Marian Marietta, all of these are included in this. And then you have your real estate, things like AMT and Willis Tower and Simon Properties and so on and so forth. And finally is the energy sector, which is the smallest sector in the entire S&P 500, which is all your major energy companies, the Chevrons, the Schlumberger, and ExxonMobil, and so on and so forth, right? So it's very important that you keep track of these sectors, especially if you're day trading. And one of the things you can do is you can put them in a separate list, which is exactly what I have. So I have the S&P 500 sectors, and I listed I list them along with something called percentage change, which basically is telling me which is the best performing sector for the day. And this helps out, especially if you're day trading, right? So one of the things you want to do is you want to focus on the best performing sectors, and then figure out which stocks within that sector are doing well, right? So that's a list which I find very useful, and this is something that I'm constantly tracking during the day, because I'm a short-term trader and I day trade often. So the other thing you can do is you can go into the Market Watch, and inside of Market Watch, there's this public list, and then you can click on Russell 1000, and you'll see the same 11 sectors are listed here as well, right? So when you click on it, you can see which are the major companies in each of these sectors. So for example, if you're not sure, in XLE, if I wanted to trade something, what would I do? You would go into the energy sector, which was the best performing sector. And then you can see the brighter the green, the better the stock performance was. So you can see that EOG and SLB performed well. And of course, the entire energy sector in general was doing well, because it was up like 1.78%, and the best performing sector during the day. So this is a great source if you're unfamiliar with the companies that belong to a particular sector. And you can always drill down and see, okay, if healthcare is strong, you want to look at companies like CNC and McKesson and so on and so forth, right? So that's another good source for you to take a look at. Now, the issue with the sectors was that I didn't want to remember what the weightage was for different sectors. So one of the things I did was I actually created a script this afternoon that displays on the top what your percentage, the percentage of S&P 500 that particular sector is, and also what the sector performance looks like. And I'll show that to you in a minute as well. So let's just go back into the charts, and the script that I created, I called it sector weight performance, right? So this is the script I created, and I'll show you. It's a very simple script, and all I did was that I took the same 11 sectors, and what I'm doing is I'm comparing it to the close and the open of the same day. So I'm not comparing it to the previous day performance, but just the performance during the day, right? So what it opened to what it closed. So I'm just looking at the difference of the two, and I'm looking at the data on the aggregation period of a day, right? Because if I look at 15 minutes or 30 minutes, then it'll start to look at the performance between the open and the close of the 15-minute bar. But by doing this, by using the aggregation period as a day, it'll give us the overall comparison on a day chart, right? And then all we've done here is I've added these labels, right? So which is showing the actual weightage as well. So it's kind of hard to remember how these are, ordered, and so you'll see that in this. And I've made this available on the website. I'll have it in my link as well below. So okay, so what we'll do is we'll just add this study here and apply and hit OK. And we'll soon see how these different sectors ended up doing on Friday, right? Which is the 7th of May, right? So as you can see, the technology sector was the worst performing sector, because during between the open and the close, it dropped 20 cents. And then of course you can see from here the energy was the best performing sector. This actually changed $1.48, right, from the open to where it ended up closing. Now these numbers represent their weightage in the S&P 500, not the percentage change, right? So as I said, technology is 26% of the S&P sector, healthcare is 13.4, discretionary is 12.7, so on and so forth. So one thing obvious from a day like yesterday was that every sector participated in the market rally. So on a day like that, it's really hard for the indices to fall, right? So you're much better off, trading on the long side versus trading, on the short side, right? You could have traded some of the technology stocks, but it was, in my opinion, better to just focus on the strongest performing sectors and then finding which stocks within that sector were actually doing well. So if you just look at like something like energy, and even if you look at the sector performance, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of the script at the top, and you guys will have it, and I'll give it to you via a link that I have. And then we look at how these sectors were doing. So you can see here the energy sector had a buy signal, and this is based on the Ultimate Trading Strategy, which is something that we use in our Discord room for day trading. Anyway, so this was had a buy pretty much right off the bat, and it closed the trade at the end, right? So you can right click and it'll show you. So this was up like $79 for every 100 shares that you ended up trading. That was the profit, right? So, but what we really want to do is we want to take it to the next step, and obviously we are using a scan, and in this scan is one of them is the day trading scan. So in this case, we're trying to figure out which are the companies out of the energy sector that are part of the day trading list. So we can see here that we have EOG, right? So this is in the energy sector. And you can see that this had a pretty nice, run during the day. Again, if you look at a slightly higher time frame, and this is the trade that I'm currently in as well. And you'll see on a 30-minute chart, this trade is open. Now, the reason it closed on the day trading chart is because I'm strictly day trading. If you're strictly day trading, then it'll automatically close the trade at the end of the day, right? But we can switch back to a shorter time frame. And again, this was another thing that we saw, which was part of the healthcare sector, which is also strong, which is the XLV, right? So the XLV was also, a strong performing sector. Pretty much everything was doing well. And then, your goal is to see, okay, if we had a trade, so you had one trade here, and then another trade here. But if you traded on a higher time frame, this was probably still in the works, right? So let's see if this is still trading. Yeah, so this trade is sort of still open, right? So hopefully this tutorial gives you a little bit of a help in terms of why sector performance is important, right? So the one other quick thing I want to show you is that the energy sector, as you can see, is up 1.78% for the day, but you can go here and click on show percent, and then now when you go on the daily chart, one of the things it'll do is it'll show you what the performance is of, let's say, the energy sector from the start of the year, and you can see it's almost up like close to 40%, right? So it's one of the best performing sectors in the entire S&P 500. If you look at technology, and you'll see that the technology sector, uh, is not that, from a yearly standpoint, is up, fairly small in terms of percentage, right? So, and then take a look at the financials as well, right, which is XLF here, right? And the financials have also, really done well from a percentage standpoint too, right? So there you go, right? So you can see it's up like almost 37%. So it's a simple and an easy way of like focusing on your day trading methodology, right? So the script I will give you, you can use that script, and you can always put it on any study or any chart that you use, and you'll get a pretty good sense through the day as to where the money is flowing, right? So oftentimes it'll happen that a certain sector may start very strong, but then may just fade during the day, but that's just part of the game, right? But when you see a certain level of consistency, when let's say everything is red across the board, that's probably not the best day to take long positions. And of course, a day like yesterday was clearly a very, very strong day, and you could have played like in a number of different sectors. Like industrials was strong, so you would start focusing on stocks like Caterpillar and Deere and so on and so forth, and as you can see, you had some decent trades in this. So I will show you. Yeah, exactly. One more thing I wanted to show you. So go to the link will be in the description. So you go to the website and go into the blog post section. So the Bearded Investor, go to the blog, and it's right on top, and you can use this link to import the script that I talked about. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.